Okay. I guess you were born in Jersey?
Yeah. Originally, my first gen. I'm a second gen now. That's why you see the celebrity bursts say I'm born in Toronto, but that's false. My first gen was born in Jersey. However, I was cloned by Clonaid in Canada. My model number is 0112568, if anyone wants to see the registration in Clonaid.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Drumr828 back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about a really weird rabbit hole I recently fell down. It wasn't long ago that I came across this interview with a rapper by the name of Kid Buu. Now, this interview was on the YouTube channel Vlad TV, and this guy, it's your common run-of-the-mill modern-day rapper with tattoos all over his body, tattoos all over his face, but that's not really what stuck out to me. What made this interview kind of grab my attention is the fact that Kid Buu was making the claim that he was not a regular human being. He was actually making the claim that he was a clone of a human being.
Okay. I guess you were born in Jersey?
Yeah. Originally, my first gen. I'm a second gen now. That's why you see the celebrity bursts say I'm born in Toronto, but that's false. My first gen was born in Jersey. However, I was cloned by Clonaid in Canada. My model number is 0112568, if anyone wants to see the registration in Clonaid.
Okay.
Now, as soon as this interview went up on YouTube, people started looking at it. People were immediately skeptical, began to look into Kid Buu's background, and it didn't take long for people to start digging up information on Kid Buu's past, his actual name, and the fact that he actually had a criminal record. Now, in the interview, he actually references Clonaid as being the program that was responsible for cloning him and creating him and all this stuff. So this led people to, of course, begin to try to investigate what Clonaid is, if it actually existed. And a lot of people found that Clonaid actually does have a website that's existed for quite a while, and they have made headlines in the news in the past. And this led people to believe that Clonaid is real and that there's an actual possibility that Kid Buu is a clone and all this might be legit. It's not. But like they say, truth is stranger than fiction, and what I dug up on all of this was pretty interesting. And I figured I'd share it with y'all since I found it to be so interesting. Now, digging into Clonaid, it revealed that it was an actual organization led by Bridget Boisolier, who is accredited as being the president of Clonaid, or the company that at least runs Clonaid. And pretty much what this organization was doing was making these lofty promises of, you know, we can clone dead relatives, we can help people with Parkinson's, we can do all this stuff using cloning research. And they really just kind of went out of their way to raise funds for building labs to facilitate this cloning research. Now, apparently Bridget Boisolier does actually have a PhD, or at least it's reported that she has a PhD in physical chemistry and analytical chemistry. At least that's what's reported, although everything that I'm finding out about this organization leaves me scratching my head. I don't know how legitimate those PhDs are, but everywhere that I could look, it does say that she has these PhDs. Now, in 2003, Clonaid went public with their missions and garnered quite a bit of media attention with their claims that they had already begun to clone human babies.
Washington Journal continues.
Well, we're going to continue our discussion of the concept of human cloning today. Joining us in our studio and testifying on the Hill today is Bridget Boisolier, who is scientific director for a private company called Clonaid. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Sure. Tell us first what Clonaid is and what the company is working on right now.
Okay, so Clonaid is a private company. We founded that 4 years ago, got the fundings to really have lab last August. And so now we have 3 scientists working almost full-time in a lab here in the United States with the major goal for us to produce a human embryo by human cloning.
Why do you want to do it?
There are several reasons. The first one is that why am I doing it myself? It's just because I think I had to do it. 4 years ago when I heard all the establishment saying this is so bad and all these things, I said I have to do it and show that this is only a baby. A little baby, the belated twin of an individual, and that's it. It's not a monster, it's not all, what we have been hearing so many bad things about this baby. And so we decided to do that 4 years ago. Now we are on the verge to have this first embryo.
And when do you suspect it will happen?
I don't want to be rushed into saying dates. What I'm saying is that we are in the process of doing it. We will check every possible defects before, so we'll need to make sure that the embryo is completely viable and before doing any implantation. So the soonest we could have an implantation is mid-April. It could be in a year from now because we want to make sure that this baby is completely and perfectly healthy.
As we did yesterday with our segment on human cloning, we'll be taking plenty of calls over these next 40 minutes, and we will leave the phone numbers on the bottom of the screen for Democrats, Republicans, and others. Our guest for this segment is Bridget Boisselier, who is a scientific director for a company called Clonaid, also is a visiting assistant professor of chemistry at Hamilton College up in New York State, and point out that she has a PhD in physical chemistry, PhD in analytical chemistry, and you are from France, correct?
Right.
And working here in the U.S. now. You're going to be testifying on Capitol Hill today at a hearing that we will be covering on this issue. What are you going to say?
I'm going to talk about the babies. I'm going to talk about the parents to be, and the father of the baby who are trying to clone, and what are his motivation. And I will read a very moving letter from him to the congressman. I will also talk about my motivation and how dedicated I am to this project, whether it's done here or abroad. We will have to move if there is any bad decision in the Congress today or in the coming future. We will have to move, but we'll move. We will not quit the project. So that's basically what I'm going to say. And I will also address basic freedom of science inquiry, and freedom of reproduction and choice of reproduction for any individual.
As we mentioned, it's a House subcommittee hearing. We'll cover it on tape due to the length of the House and Senate sessions today being live, and I'll get you an airtime on this hearing once we can figure out our overnight program schedule. We have calls coming in for Bridget Boisselier of Clonaid. Our first call from Tallahassee, Florida. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for C-SPAN, too. I would just like to say, you just used a word a moment ago. You used the word production. When we're talking about the recreation of human life, God originally set things up for insemination between man and woman. We also have in vitro fertilization. There are many options for women who cannot bear children today. One of the most ignored options is the beautiful option of adoption. I really don't understand the whole concept or purpose of cloning. I can understand it for maybe trying to clone organs to save people's lives, but to try to create a child from cells matching an individual without the natural force of two people coming together, or all the other options available that make childbirth and parenting intimate, you're going to end up mass producing.
Thank you.
A Florida court actually ordered Clonaid to reveal the identities of these clones. However, no DNA evidence could ever be provided to prove that these clones actually existed. And of course, the absence of any tangible evidence of these clones ever having been made or even existing led the scientific community to pretty much just throw up their hands and realize that this was all just an elaborate hoax. And in fact, after all the media attention that they received back in 2003, there were 2 journalists from the Montreal Gazette that went undercover to infiltrate Clonaid. One of them actually posed as a donor or a volunteer to donate her eggs for cloning research for this Clonaid organization. Now, this journalist was actually successful in infiltrating this organization and reported back that Brigitte Boisolier, the president of Clonaid, was actually mocking the media for covering their human cloning claims. Brigitte Boisolier was actually quoted as saying, "Ask me if we did it all to have free publicity. Yes." Now, upon closer investigation of the Clonaid website, we see some strange connections to another organization, a cult even, a UFO cult known as the Reamce. The Reamce or Raelians, or however you want to say it, is a UFO cult founded by Claude Vorillion, also known as Rael, by the members of his cult. Now, this guy was at one time a race car driver in France, I think it was, and he claimed that one day, he was compelled to go out to this volcano. When he reached the summit of the volcano, a UFO came down and gave him all of this wisdom and information, and that he was to spread the word of the Elohim is what he calls them.
And I saw very strong flashing light in the sky, something like the flash of a camera a long time ago. The first camera was without noise, and then slowly a small, maybe 7 meters diameter vessel, a space engine made of a very shining silver metal. It was about 7 meters of diameter and really like silver, very shining, and was slowly coming down. And I realized it was not human because it looked very heavy. It looked the weight of a big truck. It was looking heavy. You could feel it was heavy, but was in the air without any noise. And I did not know at this time, and I still don't know any human technology able to make a truck flying, the weight of a truck flying without a propeller of an helicopter or something like that. So I realized this is not human. And it was not a balloon, I was sure, because it was not looking like a balloon, it was looking like a heavy metal, not rock and roll. And so it was slowly coming down and stopped at about 30 meters from me. I was very, very happy. I thought, this is fantastic. And my first reaction was, it's so stupid I don't have a camera. I was a normal human being. I thought I was. And that was a normal reaction. And I was sure, that will disappear soon. I will not have any photo, nothing to prove what I see now. But slowly, under the vessel, a small trapdoor was open and there was a little stair on it. Stair means something to work on. So something will come outside. And finally, coming under, so the last thing you see is the face, a human face, looking more like Japanese people than European, but the eyes were so impressive. So it's not the shape, but the love, the fraternity. And I don't know in English how to say that, but like enveloped of love at the first sight. And it came to me slowly, walking straight to me, not to the left, so he was aware I was there. He said to me, we came on the earth a very long time ago. There was no life on earth. And we did create all life on earth, plants, animals, and eventually men in their image. And we are the Elohim of the Bible. Elohim, I never heard this word before. And he said, we are in the Bible. And I remember, I just read the Bible 1 week before, and I remember there was a name Elohim inside, and say we are the Elohim. And Elohim in Hebrew means those who came from the sky. And the primitive people we created a long time ago thought we were God or gods, but we are human being like you, and we will give you a message, and you will have to spread this message. And to summarize this message, so they explained how they create life on earth, how they send many messengers to humanity, in order to prepare the wonderful time we are living now. Because for the first time in our history, we are able to create life in laboratory, to travel in space. And the symbol of the Elohim I am wearing here, the infinity in time and space, represent this wonderful gift of the Elohim. We are in fact infinity taking consciousness of itself. And that's the most wonderful gift we can imagine. Understanding how we were created, understanding how it is important to be happy, to enjoy life on Earth. It's good, it's a wonderful gift, because most of the human beings on the Earth are wondering, where do I come from? Why am I alive? And it's the reason why you have more and more suicide among young generation, because for them the concept of evolution and Darwinism is not bringing hope at all. It's the opposite. It's hopeless. It's no future, like the young generation write on the wall. And this message brings a new hope. The same hope like the concept of God was bringing to humanity before, but it's not God. It's Elohim. It's us. It's a human being like us with a very advanced level of knowledge, able to create life, and who are giving us a gift, an incredible gift, saying you can be like us.
This guy has founded his own cult, which, you know, I don't know how these things take off, but it has actually become worldwide at this point, and is a cult that pulls in quite a bit of money. So it appears that Clonaid is nothing more than an arm of this UFO cult that is trying to legitimize some of the claims made by this UFO cult, that is actually going out and procuring quite large sums of money from people that are interested in the claims of Clonaid. And I think to anybody with a single thought in their head, they can realize right away this is all getting really shady and really hard to believe. In fact, if we look back on Clonaid today, we can find plenty of disgruntled investors in this project or company or whatever it is, that have come forward and let people know that they were kind of suckered by all these lofty promises made by Clonaid and all these insane claims that they were making without really any evidence to back it up. These people were suckered by Clonaid, donating hundreds of thousands of dollars. So after researching the full spectrum of everything involving Clonaid and Kid Buu, it's my opinion that this is only the latest method of procuring interest in Clonaid, which is doing nothing more than procuring large investments from people that are wishing for the best. They want these promises of immortality, of bringing back deceased loved ones, using some modern day rapper that they've pushed up at the top and made popular somehow. Kid Buu is nothing more than the most recent method of this Raelian cult to introduce this Clonaid scam to a whole new generation of potential victims. And by simply observing the tattoos of Kid Buu, we can see the full connection between the rapper, Clonaid, and the UFO cult known as the Raelians.
It's a symbol of infinity. By the way, this is one of the symbols given to me by the Raelian movement in Clonaid. This is a symbol that was given to us by our alien ancestors that created us using the synthesis of DNA.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god, stop your fucking lying.
Hey, this is Drumr828. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really helps the video survive on YouTube. Also, subscribe to keep up with the channel, and turn on the notification bell to instantly find out about new videos. I make music, motovlogs, comedy, live streams, and anything else I feel like doing. I want to give a special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Reamce, Breakdanceexpress, EarJuice, Mr. Borscht, and Gigs. Their support keeps this channel going every month. Thanks, y'all.